Hi there, welcome to Still Learning, the space where we celebrate growth in all its messy, beautiful, and raw form. I'm your host, Fortune Fowle, and if you're here, you're right where you need to be because here we're embracing the beauty of being works in progress. Therefore, lean in, get comfortable, and let's grow one honest conversation at a time. Good morning, guys. Happy Still Learning Monday. I hope your morning is off to a great start. I hope you're having a good day so far. Right now, as I am recording this episode, actually raining outside. Well, it seems like the rain has stopped, but the last couple of days, it has been nonstop raining on and off all throughout the week. And this might be an unpopular opinion, but I genuinely do love the rain. I think the rain is so beautiful. There's just something about it that's so serene and peaceful to me. But even I can say that I have had enough of the non-stop rain that has been happening all throughout the last couple weeks. I understand April showers, I know that, but it's been showering a bit too much and I just want some nice good sun. I just want some sunny days, soak in some vitamin C. And the reason why I bring up the fact that it has been raining non-stop where I live right now is because it actually really ties into this episode and what we're going to be talking about today. One of these mornings in the past week, I actually woke up, pulled open my curtains, and saw that it was raining. And I was like, God, please, please make it stop raining. I'm so tired of the rain. I love it, but it's a wrap. I think we had enough rain so far. And in that moment, the Holy Spirit gently reminded me that the rain is necessary, that we need the rain. And that reminder honestly made me pause in my complaint, right? I was complaining about the weather to the Lord, and He immediately, and just in His gentle love and kindness, reminding me that there is a goodness in the rain and that there's purpose with the rain, and fully helps me dive into just the beauty of rain. As I said earlier, I've always loved the rain, but I don't think I've necessarily had this perspective of the rain or just a deeper appreciation of rain that I have now if I didn't further explore what He really said to me in the fact that we need the rain. And I wanted to come to understand, what does that mean? What does that look like? And in doing that, guys, I uncovered some amazing and just beautiful truths that I wanted to share with you guys in our conversation today, especially since it went from thinking and viewing the rain in the physical sense and now coming to understand rain in the spiritual sense and what a rainy season looks like and how we can learn to appreciate it and the necessity of rainy season in our lives. So that led to me actually looking up what is the benefits of rain. I knew rain was necessary for natural cycle of life things. You learn this in biology, but I never really took the time to really understand why rain is so important. So I did a little Google search and this is what I found out, guys, because actually there was a lot more benefits to rain than I thought, besides just nourishing plants and trees. But what I discovered and found was that rain replenishes water sources. So it's actually how we get fresh water and how groundwater is restored. It's what allows us to have access to clean and fresh water, because without rain, those sources of fresh water would disappear. Agriculture depends on it. So we need it to grow crop. We need it because rain actually helps sustain entire ecosystems. So animals, forests, even insects depend on it to survive. It actually improves air quality. I had no idea that rain improves air quality, to be honest with you guys, but also it makes sense because I love the smell of fresh rain. It smells so good. That might be a little weird, but it smells so good to me. And so when it rains, that atmosphere actually ends up being cleansed of pollutants and dust. And then rain also helps regulate temperature. So it actually helps prevent extremes in heat and promotes balance in the Earth's climate. We need that more than ever with the way our climate's looking. So we need more rain to help us balance that out. And for us as human beings, in terms of benefits the rain provides us, it's actually very therapeutic. Rain can ease anxiety, promote rest, and bring a sense of stillness, which again makes sense to me because sometimes when I'm having a rough time sleeping, I will actually play rain sounds, sometimes a light thunderstorm. It has to be a light thunderstorm because I like the little rumble, the vibration. And there's something about it. There's something about the rain that in it provides all this nourishment and peace and stillness to us that oftentimes can go unnoticed if we're not really paying attention to it. Like, I think sometimes we can view the rain as something that can mess up our plans, like mess up our outfit for that day, mess up how our hair is gonna look that day, like mess up where we're going, because then things get muddy, all those different things like traffic. We start thinking, oh my gosh, the rain is getting in the way of my plans or what I had set in mind for the day. But actually, the rain isn't getting in your way. The rain is actually making a way. And in looking up the natural benefits of the rain, the Lord helped me be able to tie it to us spiritually and the parallel of that of rain in our own spiritual life. As I just discussed, we know that rain is an essential part to Earth's life cycle. We need it, it is necessary. Without it, very harmful things happen to our environment. But when we apply that to our spiritual lives, the same thing can be said, especially when we think about the rainy seasons that we experience in our lives. And it's really important when we have a deeper understanding of the purpose that rain serves in the natural, we are actually able to have a further understanding of how raining seasons in our spiritual life serve a purpose as well. And there are really seasons in our lives that are not meant to harm us, but to grow us. And right now that might sound really weird or like, where are you going with this, Fortune? But let me cook, guys. Okay, so let's start off with how, rain, when it falls down, it softens the soil, right? It does that because that's actually what helps, seeds and plants be able to break through the surface and be able to grow past that point. And so if we think about it, just like how the ground, it gets hard without rain and it makes it difficult for crops to thrive. So that's why the rain is necessary to soften it. Our hearts can become hardened by life, by disappointment, pride, bitterness, or even just the natural chaos that life is sometimes. And so spiritual rain softens us. It breaks up what has been hardened within our heart. Sometimes the discomfort we feel in a rainy season is actually God just softening the soil that His word, His truth, His love can then be able to take more root in, which led me to conclude that God really uses rainy seasons in our life to transform our hearts that might have once been stone into soft soil where something can be planted, where something can be nourished and grow, and we can receive it and it can produce fruit. And the thing is, it can't rain once and then all of a sudden a seed is going to burst out and become a plant, a flower. It has to experience multiple periods of rain in order to do that. And that seeds needs water, not just once, but several times before it is ever able to break through the surface. And I think about that in the spiritual sense, that sometimes we may be frustrated because we may feel like certain seeds that has been planted within us are dormant, and it can be frustrating when we don't see that immediate progress, especially when we live in a society now that really is instant gratification all the time. But it's important to understand that rain doesn't mean delay. It just means that God is working in the hidden place, because you can't see what's happening to the seed when it's buried underneath. All you know is what happens afterwards, which is the produce of that seed. But there is work being done that we can't see in the root and the foundation. And some of the most significant growth happens in seasons where we might feel the most unseen. But it's really encouraging to know that there is no delay happening, and that what is truly happening is work is being done that you can't see, but it's being done. There's something happening, and there is a transformation process that the seed is undergoing. And every single rain that it receives, right? Every single downpour that seed is receiving is actually nourishing it and is aiding in the process that is happening underneath. To take it a step further, this honestly might have been one of the more obvious things about how we can connect rain to our own spiritual lives, and that is how rain brings cleansing and clarity and purity. Rain is known to purify. It washes away, as we know, all about the pollution and the buildup that happens within our environments. And so when we think about rainy seasons in our lives, they often do that as well, right? They bring things we didn't know were there that were actually pollutants in our lives and in our environment, whether that's doubt, fear, unforgiveness, control. That downpour of rain that we experience, it's actually a period where we're being cleansed of things that are no longer serving us, things that are actually hindering our ability to grow and produce fruitfully. Honestly, when I looked at the benefits of rain naturally and how the Holy Spirit has been tying it back spiritually, I really didn't expect it to really resonate that deeply and to have this understanding and knowing that when you endure rainy seasons in life, it is actually better than you think. And I don't think I phrased that perfectly, but that's okay. It's just really knowing and stepping into this awareness that if I am experiencing a season or if I'm in a period in my life where it just feels like constant downpour nonstop every single day, I truly believe knowing this actually brings encouragement to you, knowing that, wait, this is actually working for me, not against me. Wait, this is actually something growing me. This is actually something that is producing things within me that are going to bear fruit. And it really brought me to this point of realizing that rain is part of our preparation. And every farmer knows that without the rain, there's no harvest. It's why farmers don't fear the rain. They actually anticipate rain. They expect it. They want rain to come because they understand that rain isn't a setback. It's a sign. It's something that allows the farmer to know that there is a process unfolding here just as it should, that you actually should be expecting rain and that is a necessary part of this cycle. The farmer has an understanding that, oh, I can't get my harvest if I'm not willing to go through rain. Now, when we apply that to our lives, we are able to shift our mindset and are able to look at the rain in our life, whether that's struggles, whether that's slower seasons in our lives, whether that is times of uncertainty, where we might be seeking to rush out, where we might be dreading the rain, when in actuality, we should be anticipating the rain. We should be expecting it and expecting it with a joyful heart because the rain is actually what is preparing us to be able to receive a harvest. Rain is a prelude to a promise. That is so good because I really hope through this conversation you guys come to understand that my perspective on rain and rainy seasons genuinely has been transformed, and I hope that it transforms your minds today as we talk about this, because rain, like, please do not miss this, is a prelude to promise. We see this so much throughout the Bible. There is a rainy season before the breakthrough. I think about Joseph when he was betrayed, imprisoned, forgotten. That was his rainy season, but God used that season to build Joseph's wisdom, leadership, and trust in him. And because a position of power was coming and Joseph needed roots before the fruit, the rain was able to really nourish him. That rain was necessary, and that rain was a prelude to a promise to him and the generations to come. Sometimes the rain in your life is a signal that God is making room for something bigger. It's not the absence of purpose, it's the preparation for purpose. When we think about it, rain actually strengthens the root before the fruit. Fruit is actually quite heavy if we think about it. Maybe not for us, but for a branch. If a branch isn't strong enough to hold the weight of a fruit, it will break off. That is why rain is actually essential, because it strengthens the root so that when the fruit is bare, those branches can carry it. They won't snap underneath the weight of it. So what is the rainy seasons in your life strengthening so that you don't snap under the weight of the promise, under the weight of the harvest that's coming to you? It's strengthening your prayer life, your character, your discernment, your endurance, because we serve a God who's just so kind. And guys, I can literally go on and on about how good God is, but genuinely, he's not interested in giving you just a blessing. He wants to make sure you are able to carry it. So he's like, I gotta strengthen you before this, because I don't want you to snap under the weight of the good things that I'm bringing to you. I want you to be able to carry it. One of the beauties of the rainy seasons in life, because there's this level of intimacy that you build with God, because in those moments, your motives are purified, your identity is being refined, and your dependence on God becomes so much more visible, becomes so much more real and unshakable. And so when you are at a point where now your harvest season has arrived, you will know because of the rainy season that it wasn't because of performance, it was because of preparation. And that in those seasons where there is downpour of rain, it's actually developing substance within you. People may see the fruit, but you will understand God's faithfulness to you in the rain. And I know that might be hard to grasp because in the natural, rain is actually quite unpredictable. It can rain one moment and then stop raining and then rain again and then start raining. It can rain for 3 days straight, stop raining for the next week, and then rain for the next 3 weeks. Rain is unpredictable. Honestly, I think the unpredictableness of rain is actually what is so good to us because it actually allows us to be taught how to trust the process because you don't know how long it's going to last. And so it causes you to lean in on your faith in that we're being taught this level of patience, trust, and long-term vision because naturally rain slows things down. So in your rainy season, it's understandable that you may feel slowed down or stillness, but there's still work being done in the stillness. Patience wouldn't be one of the fruits of the Spirit if there wasn't times in our lives where we actually needed to exercise patience, where we needed to build up endurance to be able to do things that are long-term, that in the long haul, that will stretch us thin. We need that level of patience and endurance, and rainy seasons do that within you because just like how we can't see what's happening to seeds underneath the surface, but we know that a harvest is coming. Like when you look outside, I know because of the winter, the trees are dry and barren, but I also know because of all the rain that has been falling upon them that there is going to be beautiful blossoms and flowers that are going to sprout from these trees. I actually have no idea the process that's happening. I know there's photosynthesis and all that stuff that I learned in biology, and that was a long time ago, so I can't recall it all, but there is a process that's happening that I can't see, but I still believe that I'm gonna see the outcome of that process. So something is happening even when you can't see it in the rainy seasons of your life. And though those seasons won't last forever, they don't, because there is a season and time for rain. What it produces, that is what is more long term. That is what can last for a lifetime. That's why I don't want us to miss this most important truth, which is that rain is really this testament of God's love for us, that God doesn't send rain to destroy us, but to develop us, and that He's not just interested in our comfort, but in our character. I really do think that's why I really go to God and try to ask Him, Lord, help me to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because in the uncomfortableness of it all, growth can be uncomfortable. It is for your good. It's what develops this rich character within you. It is what allows you to stay stagnant, right? It is what allows you to have endurance. And I really view rain now, spiritually speaking, as us being able to see God's grace in action within us, watering our souls, bringing us to life, washing away this old versions of ourselves and preparing the new. And rain serving as proof that we are not forgotten, but He's still involved, that He's growing something within us worth protecting, worth nourishing, even if we can't see it. And so when we talk about rain spiritually, we're really talking about the process of growth, the messy middle, the uncomfortable stretch, but it's also the season where roots are deepened, faith is matured, and we are made ready for the harvest God has in store. The harvest is abundant. The Lord says that Himself, the harvest is abundant, but there's not many workers. And so He's really using the rainy seasons to prepare us because He wants to make sure that we are part of the workers who will receive the abundant harvest. So now that we understand the beauty of rain and the necessity of rain, I really hope so far you guys' mindsets have already been shifting in terms of how you view the rain. And maybe if it's raining for you today, you're looking outside and you have a newfound appreciation and love for it. But I really do think that it's important for us to also talk about in this conversation what happens when we don't have rain, because I also think that speaks of God's heart and purpose for the rainy seasons in our lives. We understand that when there is not rain for a long period of time, it really is detrimental to our environment. It's one of the reasons why we are seeing wildfires that have been so much more catastrophic in our country than we have seen before, because there just hasn't been enough rain. And the absence of rain, tying that in terms of spiritually, is something that can lead to us not having consistent refreshing of God's Spirit within us, and that can cause our faith to be weakened, that can cause our hearts to become weary. But in that all, there is a grace that God has for us, and that He is always willing to send rain again. And thinking about how I wanted to go about this conversation, one of the stories that really stuck out to me that I wanted to bring forth to you guys today is the story of Elijah in the Bible. So this happens in 1 Kings 18. And what happened was that there had been no rain in the land for over 3 years. The people had turned away from God, and the land was suffering because of it. But then God tells the prophet Elijah that it's time. The rain is coming. And so Elijah climbs to the top of Mount Carmel and begins to pray. He sends his servant to look towards the sea, and there's nothing. But the thing is, he doesn't stop there. He sends his servant not once, not twice, but 7 times, guys. 7 times. But on the 7th time, the servant says, I see a cloud the size of a man's hand rising from the sea. A tiny cloud. And that's all it took. That was the only sign that the drought was about to end, that the land has been experiencing the last 3 years. And shortly after that, the skies grew black with clouds, the wind rose, and heavy rain began to fall. It was a downpour. And the reason why I wanted to bring up that story to you guys today is because I feel like it really teaches us that sometimes the first sign of breakthrough, it might look small. Because remember, it was just this tiny cloud. But small doesn't mean insignificant. It means God is moving. I find that it reminds us to stay persistent in prayer like Elijah did. He kept sending his servant back again and again and again because he was expecting rain. He anticipated it. He's like, I got a word from God. He said rain is coming. So rain is coming. It is coming. He did not doubt it at all, but he anticipated it. He wanted it. He delighted in it. And sometimes it takes us experiencing seasons of drought to come to appreciate the seasons of rain. And so it just reminds us that even after a long drought, that God is still faithful and He's always willing to send rain again, and that rain should be something that we anticipate with a joyful heart and not a resentful heart. And of course, I could not have this conversation today with you guys if I don't bring up one of the greatest things that come after the rain, which is a rainbow. I absolutely love seeing a rainbow. It makes me so happy. It's so beautiful in the sky. And that is one of the things that follows the rain, and why a rainbow is so beautiful and so significant in the fact that it follows the rain. A rainbow is a sign of promise, of covenant, and of restoration. That is the first time we see a rainbow is in Genesis 9 after the flood happens. And God lets Noah know that the rainbow is a sign that never again will a flood cover the earth in this way. And it sealed a promise with that rainbow in the sky after this major period of just downpour, torrentious rain. There is this rainbow that reminds us that God doesn't just bring us through the storm. He meets us on the other side of it with hope, with healing, with a reminder that He keeps His word. And it's just so refreshing to know that after these rainy seasons in our lives, what we find on the other side is clarity. Things begin to make more sense to us than they did before. We find joy. We have a deeper appreciation for peace. We have harvest, fruit from the faithfulness that we have been shown and that we showed during the rain. We have a newfound perspective, realizing that God was actually preparing us, building us the entire time. And we gain this deeper intimacy, knowing God not just as a provider, but as a sustainer, a comforter, and a healer, all by just living through the rainy seasons in life. So here's where I land with you guys today. We need the rain, not just in the natural world, though that is important, not just for our land, our bodies, our crop, our communities, but also in our soul. The rain is necessary. It's not something to rush through or pray away too quickly, like I was doing before I really delved into this. Don't be quick to rush out of it. because the rain is so full of purpose. It shapes us, refines us, stretches us, and prepares us for what's coming next. And so if you're experiencing rain right now, if you're in a rainy season, know that you're being watered and that God isn't absent in this storm. He's present, working in the soil of your heart and growing something you can't fully see. So let the rain do what it was sent to do. Let it soften your heart where it's grown a little hard. Let it nourish the roots of your faith that are reaching deeper into Him. And let it cleanse the fear, the pride, the doubt, whatever no longer serves the version of you God is shaping. Let it build your endurance. Let it strengthen your trust, and let it prepare you for the harvest that is ahead, because it is coming. And more than anything, let it remind you of God's love, His covenant, His promises that hold even in the downpour. And so don't rush it. Don't despise the process. Don't wish it away. Instead, delight in the fact that your Father in heaven loves you enough to grow you, to cultivate your life with care, and to stay with you in every season, especially in this one. With God, rain is never random. It's a part of the process. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Still Learning. I hope this conversation has you looking at the rain in a new light. If this episode resonated with you, please share with a friend. And if you're not already, make sure to follow at Still Learning Pod on Instagram. I'd love to hear your thoughts and continue this conversation further with you. If you're enjoying the podcast, leave a rating or review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as it helps others find this space and keep this community growing. And remember, what it is now is not what it will always be or what it will become. Stay encouraged, stay rooted in truth, and I'll see you next time for another episode of Still Learning.